Okay, we're going to make some connections with some old exchange back way before the Silk Road or anything, and exchanges that people used to have. Here we have another connection to Denmark, and they kind of go into it here at the first. Bronze Age grave in Denmark contained Egyptian beads. This is from our house, Denmark. The chemical composition of 23 glass beads unearthed in Denmark was examined with plasma spectrometry and compared with the trace elements found in beads in Amarna, Egypt, and Nippur in Mesopotamia. One of the beads, made of blue glass, had come from a woman's Bronze Age burial that was excavated in 1880 at the Olby site. She had been buried in a hollowed out tree trunk, made a sarcophagus out of that, wearing a belt disc, which is actually a sun disc right here, as string skirt, wearing with small brass tubes on strings, and all the other fabric is just totally gone. In fact, all of her rib work, arms, and everything is all disintegrated away. Only parts of her legs are left, and the skull. She had a bracelet made of amber beads and a single blue glass bead, which stood out. Now, there's a research team made up of all these guys here that I'm not going to read all off, but quite an extensive staff, and they match this bead's chemical signature to beads made 3,400 years ago in an Egyptian workshop. And so it shows their connections, and man, I hope that quits doing that, guys. So it shows connections of that long ago, and so 1400 BC or so, and this really does put it around the time of King Tut. I'm just going to unhook that, and I hope it doesn't try to fry out at 20% where it usually does. So that puts it around that same time too, and that equals the other burials that they have made the connection with that I did a video about 2 years ago or so. They now think that the Egyptian glass beads, perhaps symbolizing the Egyptian sun cult, traveled north from the Mediterranean on the amber route, which carried Nordic amber south. Amber and glass beads have been found together at sites in the Middle East and in Turkey, Greece, Italy, and Germany. And so it shows connections and things from long ago here. Interesting fact, sarcophagus, it actually means, well, phagus is to eat, and sarco is like flesh. It's pretty much flesh eating, right? And so it's made to consume the bodies. Before this time and into this time, they were putting bodies up on a dais and letting birds eat them and take them away. And it started to give the symbology where there was this bird or an eagle or a falcon of rebirth that hooks up all these people together in a winged sun disk and the whole 9 yards. And notice that sun disk was winged until a people brought a chariot into the lands, and then all of a sudden it started to become a twisted iconography where you saw somebody with a horse and chariots carrying the sun across. And you can even see that iconography in ancient Proto-Indo-Europeans where they have a cart hooked up with a couple of horses, and even a model of this and a giant sun disk on the back of it. And that's also shown in India, and the 8 spoked wheels that are there. And it's not even a closed wheel system at that point. They've already got it spoked, pretty much a wagon wheel. Yeah, so pretty much like cowboys and wagons and things. And you wonder where all those ruts that I've showed you and everything, and I think I've made connections, if we can easily inside this video talk about that, and how much travel went across there, and these common sized carts that were going there like crazy, huh? Back and forth. And there's other things too, and from mining situations and stuff, but so it matches to that. So now we want to look at something else. And man, I've got some stuff pulled up. Like, oh my gosh. I've got some stuff pulled up here, guys. But let's get to the part that connects this. Yeah, I just did another debunk on him. Well, first let's look at something, the Egyptians had that really is neat, like this crystal, glass, and beadwork. And people think glass work comes a whole lot later, but it seems these are either a special crystal or a glass, and you can't get too much information about them. There's only a couple of them that you can really look at, and that are reserve type ones. They don't mess with the ones that are in there at all. And I did a video about it, how it does the optic and looks at the back, and so it gives you an eye appearance of a real eye. And these crystal blue-eyed Egyptians, this is King Horus, said to be the second pharaoh ever, so son of Menes or Narmer, or King Scorpion itself and stuff. So, and Horus, King Horaha, and the warrior, and there's a bunch of them, all these different ones. And you can see this one of Mitri, and the other one who was another scribe, but they're both scribes, and it's just real neat. Oddly, that one has the face structure my dad used to have and everything, and blue eyes too. But and you can see some slight hair lined around on them here. But yeah, they had even blue eyes in lapis lazuli, and cut to a hole with a bead through it situation that are inset as eyes way back in the Kata series, pre-dynastic. So you can see that. But these eyes are just quite the standout. They only had them till about the 12th dynasty, and it goes away. But there is one famous one that they have here, which is Nofret and her husband Renifer. And I don't think it shows a Renifer, but there's also, everybody knows Nefertiti. There's King Tut's representation, Nefertiti. And while she's missing one eye, the other one is still one of those glass beads that are set into that beautiful statue that Nefertiti says beauty comes to us. So now we look at this other article, though, and so that's just a little different than glass beads, what we're looking at. But just recently found in Pompeii, which we know of about Vesuvius, and has all been excavated out now professionally and stuff, but they're still doing large parts of area. They found these bead collections in this one area where 10 bodies were found, and it's kind of incredible. Here's that falcon type symbology, and you can see these buttons and pins, some of them being brass.